Hey, what's up guys? I just recently passed my Part 107 test and I thought I'd share exactly what I did to pass and what I think is enough for you to study and pass as well. I didn't pay for any courses or spend any money out of pocket besides for the test. Disclaimer before I get started, what I have on my test is going to be different from what you had on yours or someone else has on theirs because the amount of each topic varies on how much they appear. But what I can tell you is if you know all these topics, you will be prepared for the test. If you don't mind spending a little money though, I do recommend buying the testing supplement just because that's what they use on the test. So to look through the questions, it's actually you're flipping through that supplement on the different figures. I myself didn't use that, and I personally don't think you need to spend any money to study and pass this test. The first thing I used to study was Tony and Chelsea Northrup's How to Pass the Part 107 exam video. I think this pops up first on anyone who's trying to study, and I highly recommend it even if it's old and some of the information is a little bit dated. It helped serve as a good basis for me to figure out what I myself didn't understand and needed to do more in-depth studying in. PSA, this video will not give you all the information you need to pass the test. You still need to know about flying at night. The rules have changed about that, and remote ID, which was on my test and will probably be on yours. I think this video is also very helpful for familiarizing yourself with terms and words and numbers that you need to know. And he even gives a PDF to study from that has all the abbreviations, all the numbers about airspace and everything like that that you need to know, all the concrete information that still hasn't changed. I'm gonna leave a link to all the videos I'm talking about in the description so you don't have to search them yourself. The next video I used to study was the Altitude University's guide on passing the Part 107 exam. Even though there is some overlap from the last video and it is still a little old, there's some information on there that doesn't overlap, and they explain some similar topics more in depth and give a different perspective on things that Tony and Chelsea Northrup's video doesn't give you. What I do like about Altitude University is they do have videos on the other topics, such as flying at night and other things a little bit more in depth. So go through their playlist and watch those videos as well. But this is the main one and the night vision video, which I will link below. Next, I'm gonna talk about two completely different videos, but what they do is they go specific on topics that I feel like aren't explained as much in depth. I don't think I've seen any videos explain the remote ID as well as everything else. So I feel like you just need to watch a specific video on the remote ID, as well as I feel like weather doesn't get talked as much about in depth. They go over the basic ideas, but I think it's important to know everything about the weather because it is the toughest topic. And I will say that my test did not have much weather. I think I might have had like 2 weather questions, but I think it's good to know because they are harder and less intuitive. It's more of a study thing. And I think that if you want to really understand that weather, watch the video I'm going to link below. Lastly, one of the best things that I think helped me as well in terms of how to take the test and how the test would be structured is the King School's practice test. And the thing I like about this is it lets you pick specific topics. I'm not sure if everything is up to date and if everything is right, but for the most part, most of the questions seem to have the right answers. And what I do think is important is take a picture of the charts while you're taking the test, because when they give you the right answers, you can't look back at the chart. So take pictures of the questions you're unsure of so that when you get them wrong, if you get them wrong, you can look back and be like, oh, why did I get that wrong? And you can see the chart because they're not gonna give you that chart back when they give you the results. And what I love about this test is it lets you pick how many questions you want to take in each topic. So let's say you want to do 10 questions on regulations because you don't have too much time to study that day, but you want to give a little bit of time, then you can put only 10 questions, or if you want to put 30, 60 questions, it lets you go up to 60 in each topic, I believe. Then you can do 60 questions in any of the topics. I believe it's crucial to at least take one 60-minute test with all the topics because it will be a good simulation for how it's going to be when you take the actual Part 107 exam, as well as you can gauge how well you actually know everything at once. Because just studying the subtopics on what you're struggling with is not going to be enough. You need to make sure you know everything and that you're confident. So at least take one of those, please. If you can, take 2 to 3. Take as many as you need until you're at least consistently getting an 80 or a 90 on everything. Now for a quick tip on what I believe are the most important topics to know, like the back of your hand when studying for the Part 107 exam. And those are going to be the rules and regulations and how to read sectional charts. The reason I say this is because they want to make sure you're following all the rules and not flying illegally, and the best way to gauge this is if you know your rules and regulations. Plus, on my test, this was a large percentage of my questions, and my biggest regret was thinking that this was common sense and every question could be common sense figured out. This is true for the most part, but there are some rules and regulations that I just don't think you can just figure out by common sense, and you need to know the exact numbers, the exact way they work, because they give you two similar option choices sometimes on the rules and regulations, and it can throw you off. I believe you should watch every single video 2 to 3 times, as well as all the topics you don't know. Go in depth and really make sure you understand them, because the confidence in knowing the topics you don't know and knowing all the topics is killer. The confidence helps you to see a question and be like, I know how to answer that. When I see the METARs and TAFs, it's like, I know how to navigate this. When they're asking me, okay, what is it at 1200 Zulu? I know where that is. The other important part about the confidence is it keeps you relaxed, so that when you're taking the test, the nerves don't overtake you. I know how to answer this question. I know what I'm doing. I've seen this before. You take a breath and you can answer that question, and you can stay relaxed, and you're like, oh, I know this, and you start to realize you know how to do most of those. You might not know how to do everything, but for the most part, you should know how to do all of it. As for study time, I believe 3 weeks is enough study time to know what you're doing and pass the test, even a month to be extra sure. Can you study everything in 2 weeks? I believe so. Can you cram it all in a week? I also do think it's possible, but I don't recommend it, and I know we all have busy schedules, so to utilize your time and not cram everything at once and be less stressed, I feel like 3 weeks to a month of practicing 15 minutes on your busiest days, most days, and spending that hour and a half watching those long videos. You'll know all the information very well, and if you take notes on everything and watch it 2 to 3 times, you will memorize everything, I promise you. Lastly, I just want to say good luck everybody on your Part 107 exams. It is possible to pass, and you will pass if you do everything I talked about in this video. Leave any questions or comments on topics you're struggling with, and I'll try to reply and send a link to a video or something that I use to help me study that topic. See you next time. Peace.